It's George Kendall, and I'm back again. And I'm going to discuss a few things here. Now, first of all, the history of metals' heating and cooling cycles can influence its melting point. Repeated heating and cooling can change the metal's microstructure, potentially leading to a variation in its melting point over time. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Okay, I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain this the easiest way that I can for people out there so they'll understand it. Now, that 1833 meteor shower wasn't a normal meteor shower and wasn't like what people expect to see. But you've got to listen to the witnesses and everything. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what happened, and I can prove what happened. And I'll explain to you how I can prove it. But somebody out there has to have the balls to step up and want to possibly admit that they could be wrong. Now, the mesosphere became electrified with sprites and elves. When you figure you have a well over, and I think the amount is way underestimated from what I'm finding. But when you have well over 1 million meteors traveling through the mesosphere, the smoke is producing massive amounts of everything. But you've got to look it up. Okay, now, the massive amounts of sprites and elves that it created Joel's heating or roasting. Okay, on all the space rocks that came through. But a lot of them look different, and I'll get to the reason why they look different and why a regular meteorite person that's an expert in the meteorite field can't identify the types that I have. Okay. Now, the electric field that was created with rocks being shocked by lightning, little lightning sprites, the electric field slowed the speed of the space rocks. That's why they refer to them as snowflakes, hailstones. When they came out of the mesosphere, they were slowed. And that's why it was the night the stars fell, not the night the stars shot across the sky. But people, just still aren't getting it. And that type of heating and being roasted and cooked in the mesosphere altered the atomic composition of the metals and the minerals, creating new ones. Now, if you have a situation like that, where the inside has been atomically altered, and I'll tell you how I know, and I'll get to the point here in a second. Okay, if the inside is atomically altered, new minerals and textures. It also alters the magnetic properties, which can make them magnetically weak. That's why I'm saying you have to hang a magnet for it to stick, because the magnet just will not stick on this type. Okay. Now, you want to know where I'm going? Look up what can change the melting point of metals and minerals. Research that. And then you'll know where I'm going from if you research that. Now, a meteorite expert told me that it didn't have the right texture when they were feeling. Okay, well, altering at the atomic level, it alters the texture. It alters the texture of what you're feeling. So if a meteorite comes in and it's altered at the atomic level, it's not going to feel like a regular meteorite that just burns and melts. And this is the point I've been trying to get across to everybody. Now, I had a rock expert put one under a microscope. They saw that crystal structure had been altered. It wasn't right. It wasn't correct. They couldn't identify it. Now, for all you people out there who are so-called meteorite experts, if you don't know about the atomic structured meteorites, you can't identify them if you don't study it. You don't study atomic structures and everything. Who can identify them? It's an atomic physicist. Now, how do I know that I'm correct in what I'm finding? Okay. I'll give you some enlarged pictures. These are new types of metals and new types of minerals that were created. It still looks like a rock. But when you alter the atomic structure, a rock can still have rock properties. Now, the regolith on Mars. The regolith on Mars. It looks like this when you really magnify it. You get up and you look under it. This is before it's altered. And this is even a closer picture of it. Now, this is only magnified as 60 times. I don't have the microscopic equipment to magnify 900 times to really see the structure good. If I could get anybody to listen, you know, but they don't want to listen. And that's fine. A rock like this would be from Mars because of the red and the green in it. The regolith. And this right here, this spot right here, that where it was struck by your so-called sprites. Because that's fulgurite. Now, how do I know? How do I know? Okay. This one's been fulgurite on the outside too. This right here, that's fulgurite. These were struck by lightning, but they were buried in the ground where nobody's been for 200 years. Now, what is really interesting, and see if I can find it. When you see a regular meteorite, you expect to see this. Okay? When the atomic structure is altered, this is what a person should expect to see. It's structured different. Metals and minerals are structured different. And you know, I can't get any clearer on some of this stuff. Now, this rock right here, you look around it, okay? This one was buried in the ground, and I got it out, but it looks like a regular rock, okay? But when you turn it around, this was struck by lightning right here. I've got larger pictures. I can't find the picture where it shows. What the fulgurite does is it creates a different mineral or whatever on the outside of it, and it's like a glossy thing. And that's what I've tried to explain, the coatings on the outside of the rocks being altered like this one, why they're so glassy. Now we'll go with what another one of NASA's pictures, the zebra rock. NASA took that picture. This is my zebra rock. It is the same thing, except my lines are different. But it is the same green, and the same white that you see on here, this is the same thing, whether people want to believe it or not. Now, how do I know about a lot of this stuff? Is because I've been taking pieces like this, little pieces like this, and looking at them underneath microscopes. This little piece right here, you can't see it. You can't see it. This little piece, when you magnify it, that's what it looks like magnified. This picture. This little piece right here. It's atomically altered, and the oxidity on the outside is altered too. Now, but another bizarre one that I found, and I have no idea what the hell this is. I have no idea what this green stuff is and what this metal is that's embedded in it. It's harder to see, but all that is metal that's embedded into the rock. Okay. Now, with all that being said, okay, this is a solid piece of metal that has been atomically altered on the inside and the outside. That's why it looks different. The color of it looks different. It doesn't look like a regular meteorite because the metal has been altered. It's a different type of metal. But this is a whole solid metal piece. Now, for those out there, okay, and I'm putting this out there because it's getting really stupid and idiotic that people are killing everybody and everybody wants to destroy everything on this planet. So I'm going to make this clear. Atomically altered metals and minerals are far more stronger at making more destructive weapons than you can make out of the regular minerals and the metals that they have now. On the atomic level, far more dangerous. Something like this could go in the inside of one of your aircraft carriers, out the other side, and still keep going because of how hard it is. Now, if it comes down to it, and a lot of my life's put in danger, and a lot of family members and a lot of friends' lives are put in dangers, then I'll start building my own weapons if I have to. I'm not going to sit here and try to contact everybody. I've tried to contact people at the PNNL lab. I have the metals and the minerals to be able to stop all these wars. If a weapon with stuff that I have was devised and it was this big and it was dropped on Russia, it would sort of be like a supernova explosion in space. But like I said, you know, they don't want to believe. They want me to have to go out and do it and prove that I know what I'm talking about before they'll listen. But if I develop a weapon, then they're going to insist that I'm a terrorist. And that's what sucks about this. Nobody wants to check any of this out, what I'm saying. But I'm telling it like it is. And I'm using what I'm finding, and I'm using the science, their science, and putting all this together. And I'm going to say this one last time. I have the metals and the minerals of mass destruction. I can create something that will it would even blow the planet up. Because I have so many new metals and new minerals that I've been looking at. And people call me stupid or crazy, but hey, you know, nobody wants to listen. I've tried to explain this to everybody, but if there's a possibility that I am correct, and I could stop all these wars because of the stuff that I have, Isn't it worth just taking 5 minutes to put a little slab like this under a microscope and look at the structure? I have a lot of these. I've cut up a lot of them. But it requires being under a microscope and having an expert in the atomic field look at the structure. Now, it is what it is, and if I said something that offends somebody or they think it's going to make me dangerous, so be it. I've been trying to get people to listen for a long time now. And if I got to say something that somebody's not going to like, so be it. Maybe somebody will come and listen. Maybe somebody will come out and they will understand what I'm talking about. But as of right now, anything can be seen that I have underneath a microscope. It's just I got to have the right qualified person. I'm not qualified in microscopes. But nobody wants to take a chance. And like I said, a regular meteorite expert, they won't understand atomic structure alteration because they're not really trained in that. And we'll call it good.